www.woltersworld.com.
Thanks, Caleb. Hi guys, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're on the campus of the University of Illinois in front of Follinger Auditorium, having a very nice time here in this beautiful December day. Look, I'm not even in a jacket. Who knew that could happen at Illinois? Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is advertising, and basically the overall idea of what advertising is, some of the key facets of it, what are the kind of types of advertising that are out there, these kind of things. Because a lot of people feel that advertising and marketing are the same thing, and they're not. They both have a lot of similarities that go into it, but they're just tiny similarities when there's a lot more to the marketing beast and the advertising beast themselves. Now, what we're going to focus on, if you want to look at where they connect, if you look at marketing, marketing has these 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. That 4th P, that promotion, that's where they link up to advertising. Because promotion, communication, well, that's what advertising is. It's communicating an idea. It's communicating a message out to our customers. Okay, and if we look at like the 4 key facets of advertising, or what advertisements are, basically you look at one, the key thing is it's persuasive communication. You're trying to persuade people to maybe buy your product, buy Coke, or you're trying to persuade them to believe in your cause. Hey, we have our Movember, check your balls public service announcement here on Wolters World, and we're trying to sell or communicate or persuade you to check your balls. Make sure you don't have testicular cancer, these kind of things, all right? So there's all kinds of things out there, but basically it is persuasive communication, getting people to do something. Another thing you have to look at is advertising isn't free. It's something you have to pay for, okay? Another thing you look at it is it has to come in some form of medium, okay? Whether it is an internet spot or a TV spot or on radio or advertisements, or even if you put it on a t-shirt, like Wolters World, which make good Christmas gifts, just saying. Okay, you have to have some medium that you're communicating with the customers, okay, and to transmit your idea. And then also with advertising, where the message is coming from must be known. So if you look at political advertisements, at the end, it always says, this message was sponsored by tax-free Americans, or Americans for less taxes, or whatever. They're saying where the message is coming from. So those are the key facets, like background facets you have to look at when you look at advertising. Now, if you're looking to develop your advertisements, I talked about the marketing side, those 4 P's. Well, guys, it's good to know the 4 P's of marketing for advertising, because these are things you can communicate in your advertisements, okay? If you know the product, which is the value creation kind of thing, we know the values that this product creates, well, then we can sell those. We can put that in our advertisements so people can buy it for those reasons. Now, if we look at the types of advertisements that are out there, there's 3 main kinds of advertisements. One is called informative advertising. Basically, if your product just comes out, if you go to the product life cycle, you look at the introduction phase, you're looking at, hey, we're trying to tell people what our product is, inform them about it, build brand awareness, these kind of things. So when Coke comes out with a new flavor, they have a lot of commercials to inform you, hey, we have it out there. Or if you look at retailers, they have, hey, we have our Christmas sales. We're trying to inform people about it, hence why it's called informative advertising. The second kind you have is what's called persuasive advertising. This comes out in the growth and maturity phase of the product life cycle, because you're having a lot more competition, so you're trying to persuade people to buy your product versus somebody else's out there. So you may say, hey, our cleaning stuff cleans 2 times as fast as the leading brand. Okay, so you're trying to persuade people to switch to you. Another thing, in the maturity phase, the decline phase, you have the 3rd type of advertising, which is reminder advertising. We're not trying to get people to try it for the first time. We're just trying to remind people to buy it again and again. Coca-Cola does this because, look, I ask, if I interview my students, I have 700 students, I ask, how many people have never had a Coke? There were 2 people out of 700 that never had a Coke. So obviously Coca-Cola's commercials are not about getting that first-time Coke user. They're reminding people to buy again and again, okay? So those are 3 main types of advertising. Now, if you look at how advertising focuses on different things, you have what's called institutional advertisements, which is we're selling Kellogg's brand cereals or Coca-Cola brand products. This overall institution, we're selling the idea. Boeing does this with their advertisements. They talk about how safe their planes are. They don't say, 747, they just say Boeing in general. Okay, so that's an institutional advertisement. Then you have what's called a product focus advertisement, which deals with a specific product. So when you have a commercial that just says, ooh, I'm enjoying my Coke Zero, glug, 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 glug. Coke Zero is so great, you should get Coke Zero. They're focusing on a product focus advertisement. So we're trying to sell one kind of product, all right? And then you have social marketing, or your public service announcements. These are another kind of advertisements. And what's cool is if you're a company and you do good things, why don't you let people know? radio stations, TV stations, they have to have public service announcements. So if you're putting on a food drive like the Eastern Illinois Food Bank, they're trying to raise money or get more food to help families at the holidays, well, you can put that on the air and say, hey, this is sponsored by Marks County Market or whatever. You have these kind of things, and it helps promote your brand because it shows you're helping things. Okay, now when you're looking at devising your advertisements, you need to have an appeal. What are we going to get to? What's going to hook the people into buying it? So if we look at the appeal that our advertisements need to have, or what's the hook? What's going to get people to buy our products from reading these advertisements? There's two main ways you look at it. One, there's informational appeals, and then there's emotional appeals. Now, informational appeals, you're talking about your product benefits or your product attributes that make people want to buy. Our batteries last twice as long as the leading competitors. Our toothpaste makes it twice as shiny. Okay, you're telling about your product and its benefits, and that informs people so they can make a better decision. They'll buy on that. Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World. But let's be honest, most people buy on an emotion. That's why sex sells. That's an emotional appeal. We're trying to sell the sexiness. Hey, if you have an Apple product, you're going to be cool. Well, that is an emotional appeal. We're appealing to people's desires, whether it is to look sexy, whether it is to be cool, whatever it is, we're appealing to that. We're using their emotion to get them to buy our products.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
Now, when we've got our appeal, we've got our message, we've got all of our advertisements out there, we have to figure out, we have to figure out what's our schedule going to be. Are we going to have an advertisements all the time? Do we just have it at certain times of the year? Do we mix it up? Well, there's three main kinds of scheduling for advertising or advertising schedules. One is continuous advertising. This might be pretty simple. You continuously advertise throughout the year. You have, Coca-Cola has Coca-Cola commercials all around the year, no matter when it is. Again and again and again, whatever month it is, they're selling Coca-Cola. And so if you see a product that people buy all year round, hey, that's great. Okay. Now, other people, they only advertise their products at certain times of the year. So if you have your Monster cereals, the Frankenberry and Boo Berry and all those kind of things, they only sell them at Halloween time. Or at the holidays, you'll have Crunchberry or these kind of things you promote more. Or, with Coca-Cola, they have their Santa Claus advertising campaign that only comes out at the holidays. So you have these things. And that kind of only once a year kind of thing, those are called flighting advertisements. Okay, it's a flighting schedule. And then sometimes you have a mix of the two. Because basically Coke has continuous and flighting. So when you mix those together, you have what's called pulsing. So you have your normal advertising throughout the year, and then certain times you put more advertisements out there. Great example of that is Toys R Us, toy stores. Yes, they advertise toys all year round, but then at Christmas time, obviously, what do? Hey, come get more toys, 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 toys. They have a special campaign just for that. And you may see for each one of these different kind of schedules you might have completely different commercials for each one. And the thing is, when you look at these ads, you want to make sure they're understandable. You don't want to confuse people, and that will help out a lot more to get your advertising to be more successful and get people to get your advertising to be more persuasive, because if they understand what it is, they're more likely to buy. So I hope that helped you with the basics of advertising. I know there's a lot of stuff out there in this video, but I hope it helps. If you have any other questions on marketing or advertising or whatever, please leave a comment below, and we hope you'll like and follow us here on YouTube. Also, we're on Twitter and Facebook, so we'll see you around. Bye from Wolters World here at the University of Illinois. Bye.
www.woltersworld.com.
Thanks, Caleb.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
All right.